Okay, so welcome to part 2. I ran out of time. I guess I'm babbling on too much. But again, you see the huge difference between artist grade, and you can leave these, darker spots. I really like to do that. The glazes, again, more translucent. I really wanted to show you the difference not only between the different types of acrylics, but the difference between gesso or non-gesso. But it's all about what kind of page you're trying to create, what kind of tone. It's fun to play around with all these different types of paints on one page. I'm a self-taught artist, so I find it fun to mix it all together. There are no rules in art journaling. So I prepped this page, again, I got some gesso on the right, on the left, and I got a little small spot here that doesn't have any gesso on it. But I just wanted to show you how you can start with craft paint and then you can build your layers with acrylics. So I put a line of craft paint right on my thing. I'm going to get my handy dandy credit card. It's actually a hotel key. My favorite tool in art journaling. Yes, we've got brushes and you can put sponges and all that goodness, but there's nothing better than just scraping a background. So you can see I have half, and then over here I don't have any gesso. Slightly different, but so I just kind of move it around, whatever I like. There's always lots of paint left on your card. I probably put a little bit too much paint on, but for time's sake. So you can see the difference on the top right here where I didn't put any gesso, and at the bottom where, on this side where I have gesso. One thing about my art journaling, see how much paint is left on the card? I don't want to put any more craft paint on this page, so I flip over a couple. I don't worry about it. I just scrape it down. My style, I have lots of layers, and I don't have any preconceived notions when I journal, and I'll just scrape it off, and then it just becomes a background to my next page. So to help this dry a little bit, usually I cheat and use my heat gun. I'll just kind of wipe it a little bit. It's always fun to, if you have baby wipes, which I don't have right now, but you just wet your paper towel, and over gesso you can wipe some stuff off. It took me a while to feel comfortable with wiping off paint. I always thought I spend big money on this stuff, and now I'm just gonna wipe it off. What's going on? But once I started wiping and blending and just creating different, I do it all the time now. I don't worry about, it's not a waste of paint. It's all about creating the art. So I'm gonna go over now with the other magenta. Normally in my style I would add a layer of stamping in here, just black stamping. I use regular archival inks or archival or memories black. In between layers. No need to use StazOn. Don't waste your expensive StazOn unless you're using transparencies. So again, oh, that was a lot. I should not have put that much paint, especially when working with artist grade on that page. So we'll see where it goes. I'll just scrape it off on the next one. So adding the second layer, again, over gesso, you can see how it's different compared to the little non-gesso side here. But I'm just scraping randomly, not worrying about where it's going, just creating a background for myself, leaving some heavier, some not. So just really fun. So, I don't have to, and actually that was a lot of paint, but I kind of like how it turned out, and, don't worry about it, just play. Art journaling is all about playing. I'm going to wet my little napkin I got going on here again. And really, these layers should be dried in between. But for sake of time, I'm not going to do it. So I'm, again, just going to add a few more, wipe it off a little bit. Without the gesso, it's very hard to wipe. It's very hard to wipe off. Your paints are going to become more muddy. So anyways, quickly, I'm going to, just checking the time, I got 5 minutes. I'm going to put some of this iridescent medium. And I'm only going to put a tiny bit. Maybe I'll add a little bit more. Just going to look like that. You can mix it on your palette beforehand with your acrylics, or if you're going to just be, a rebel like me, I'm just going to put it down. I'm going to add some Titan Buff. So I'm going to add a little bit of depth, even though it's cream. Layering creams and whites is going to give you huge tonal, of course I can't open it. It's going to give you huge tonal difference Of course I have to be on video and I can't open my paint tube. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to just put a little dab beside the iridescent medium. So what's going to happen is that these two are going to go together. Now normally when I scrape paint, you can add a little dab of all these different colors and then scrape them on separately. But you can always, scrape them on together, which is what I'm going to do now. So this is just adding another layer over top the other one. So you can leave it thicker in some parts. You can scrape it so you can't see it anymore. It's totally up to you. You can take the edge of your card and draw swirls in this at this point. Take the edge of your paintbrush and draw swirls, and it'll dry like that. It's already, the one thing about scraping paint on, it does dry quicker than if you were using a brush. So when I put the next layer down, the paint will sit in these edges. So just put little swirls in the deeper parts. So can't really go any further than here at this point because this needs to dry. And usually I use a heat gun, and be careful of the fumes and all those good warnings because it is polymer, it is a plastic, and there could be fumes. But that's just a little warning there. Read the labels. Some colors are worse than others, but I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial. I have lots more planned. It was so fun. From here, I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to definitely add some stamping and a couple more layers in the next videos, maybe tomorrow. So we'll kind of work this page together. So I hope you enjoyed that. Quickly, I have a last minute. I was really motivated this morning, and I created this fun page. Now this is done completely with craft paints, and you can kind of tell the difference between this page that have craft paints, which I really love. I drew a flower, and everyone that knows me and knows my work, I don't draw very often, but it was definitely fun to do. And you see this page, how much more rich it is, especially these blues down here. That's because I was using artist grade, which is, you know, definitely different than the craft paint. But it was fun. Earlier this morning, started it last night with the background, but again, some credit cards scraped on there, some gesso, and then I put some just random craft paint colors on top when I was painting this flower. In between, remember I showed you how I was wiping off the paint when I applied each layer. I applied the magenta, and then I went to orange, and I went to yellow, and each one, there's some white in there as well. I was wiping off white artist grade acrylics, actually. I was wiping off in between to get this cool texture. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Give me some feedback. I'm going to get a tripod. Thanks to the man who's holding my camera right now. I'm very grateful that he can help me out. Anyways, have a great day, everyone. Give me some feedback. Show me some love. Take care.